everyone, welcome back to my What to Watch Now channel. For this week's list, we're gonna jump over to Prime and I've got 14 movies that I know you missed. But first,
thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and click the notification bell so you're alerted to the new videos I upload every Friday.
14 movies here. This list is in no particular order. It's just a bunch of movies that I've either seen before or I haven't. So let's get into this list.
The first movie on the list is Grave Encounters. This movie came out in 2011 and is rated 16+.
A team of paranormal investigators decides to film overnight in an abandoned hospital. And for the first time, they begin to experience things that they've always hoped to. And these are some things that they've actually claimed to have seen in the past.
This found footage horror gets the job done. It has some great scares, and for having a smaller budget, you really feel like you're with them as you try to navigate the many halls and not get separated from each other. This is a lesser known horror movie, but it's worth a view. Next on the list, we have The Collector. This movie came out in 2009 and is rated R.
The main character in this one is a handyman, and he's been working at this house, pretty wealthy home now for a while, when he finds himself in a jam. So he decides he's going to break back into this house when these people leave and try to get into their safe. Problem, he's not alone in the house.
This home is no longer safe. A thief has broken in not knowing that a collector has already booby-trapped the home and made it nearly impossible to leave once you've entered inside. Trying to get out alive, let alone with the jewels he's come to steal, will be the hardest thing he's ever had to do.
I've always loved The Collector. This one is such a good one. It's tense. It's a really, really good thriller. I actually own this one back here somewhere. I remember when it first came out, I thought this is the best cat and mouse movie I have seen in so long. I'm in it with this guy. Like, I'm in it with him. You're watching him creep through this house and try to evade this other guy who you're not quite sure what type of killer it is because you're trying to keep away from him. This one's really good. And if you watch any of the movies on this list, this is definitely one that you're gonna wanna see.
Another one of my favorites, we have P2. This movie came out in 2007 and is rated R. Tom has been watching Angela for years. His obsession with her becomes a night of terror as he stalks her through the P2 parking garage. This is an edge-of-your-seat horror thriller that is full of everything that we love in our stalker films. And Wes Bentley plays the perfect crazy stalker. This is definitely one you don't want to miss.
Another one that I own, P2. This is such a good one. I love this story. This is a Christmas movie, okay? Bear with me, people, bear with me. It's a Christmas movie. You got Angela and she's running through this parking garage, trying to get out, trying to keep away from this crazy guy who you will remember from American Horror Story and some other things. What was he, Edward Mordrake, something like that. But anyway, really good. I enjoy this movie every time I put it on. You might see some things in it that are really, really gross. I mean, there are some terrible, terrible, brutal scenes in this movie, but what can I say? I live for it. But definitely check this one out if you are a horror fan and if you do like that type of stuff, this one won't disappoint. We're back in the 80s.
Another classic favorite of mine, we have Leviathan. This movie was made in 1989 and is rated R.
Oh, Leviathan. This is such a good one. This one and The Abyss, those are two movies that I remember seeing around the same time. They were kind of always compared to each other. You had one that was more like the horror and the other was more like the PG-13. We have an underwater horror thriller here, people. We have a crew locked underwater. They've been doing like mining or something like that. And they only have a few days left and they're gonna get to go home. And wouldn't you know it, one of them goes onto a ship that they found abandoned, some wreckage, and brings back like all this stuff, and as they're sifting through it decides, well, I'm just gonna slip this and keep it. And have you ever seen The Thing?
The mining crew only has a few days left in their shift, and now they have this unknown organism on board, killing and terrorizing the whole crew. This one definitely gives you vibes from The Abyss, as well as the movie Aliens. It really is a good, sleek horror thriller. I highly recommend it if you've never seen it. It is a little old, but it definitely still holds up well for today. My next film is Frozen. This movie came out in 2010 and is rated R.
I love this movie, Frozen. And no, it's not Disney. Ooh, this one's gonna make you cold. Some friends go away for the weekend, right? They've gone snowboarding, they're skiing, they're at the resort. Long story short, they get stuck, okay? On a lift. got plans to go snowboarding anytime soon? Don't watch this movie before.
It is Sunday and the resort doesn't open back up until Friday. This means they've been forgotten out on this lift and no one is coming to help them. This movie does for skiers and snowboarders the same thing that Jaws kind of did for surfers and people that love to swim in the ocean. Every time you get out on the mountain and get on that lift, you're going to think about this one right here. Bad Ben came out in 2016 and is rated 16+.
Okay, you guys, now this one right here, have you seen Paranormal Activity? Have you seen any of them? Okay, well this right here is somewhat like that, but it's a lot funnier and it moves a lot quicker. Like there's a lot of action in this one. Main character Tom buys his house at a sheriff's sale, and let me tell you, as soon as he does and he moves in to try to get everything together to sell it, everything goes wrong. I really had a great time watching this movie. I felt like I was in it with him.
Once the main character makes up his mind to rid the house of this entity, the movie really picks up, and let me tell you, Tom is absolutely hilarious. This is a lesser known movie. I'm so glad that it's on Prime. If you have the time to watch it, I would give it a view. Harbinger Down. This movie came out in 2015 and is rated R.
We've got another one on our list, people, that is somewhat like The Thing. Harbinger Down. Group of people, we're on a ship out in the middle of the ocean and they pull something on board. Normally I think they're working and they do seafood hauls, but what they pull on board, like I said, I mean, I've seen The Thing, so immediately in my mind I was like, see, put it back.
Whatever the crew has brought on board is now stowed down below, thawing out and lying in wait. And as they embark on their return trip home, they have no idea the type of monster that they've unleashed.
This one actually really surprised me. It was kind of low budget, but I stuck with it and I was pleasantly surprised. There were a lot of really good scares in it. The effects were really good. The story, was kind of okay. It's not the best movie on Prime, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I think it's worth a watch. Ooh, this one's brutal. You've been warned.
Next up on the list is Bone Tomahawk. This movie came out in 2015 and is rated 18+.
We got a Western on our hands, people. We've got Kurt Russell, we've got Patrick Wilson, and Matthew Fox. And let me tell you, they're doing what cowboys do. They're walking and talking, and they're walking and they're talking.
As the men travel closer and closer to their destination, they have no idea of the evil that awaits. One man is injured and must be left behind, leaving only two to go up against a tribe with unknown numbers.
The Western horror, I didn't even know they made Western horrors. I've never seen Kurt Russell in a movie like this, but it was good. This was so good. This movie right here, it was one of those that came out and I didn't watch it, and I wish I did, because I'm just not one of those people that watches a lot of Westerns and, cowboy type stuff. But this is so not that. I mean, it is, but it was better. You definitely got to give this one a try.
Next up on my list, I have Open Grave. This movie came out in 2014 and is rated R.
He woke up in an open grave, people, with dead people.
He wakes up not knowing who he is or where he is and makes his way to a cabin where he finds a group of people that don't seem to know who they are either. The only thing that they do know is that they have all been taken, something has been done to them, and apparently the person that did it is amongst them.
This one is good. I can't place the main character in too many movies other than District 9. But it was better than I thought it was gonna be. I had never heard of it. This was one I had never seen before on any platform. And so when it came up, I was just like, okay, well, we can go ahead and try this one. Okay, he wakes up in a grave and there's people and, but there's a gun and he's got rope and, we gotta now figure out who did this, who put us in the grave, who's the killer, who's not the killer. So definitely a good one. It's not one that I would watch first if you're trying to pick something off this list to make your own list. But if you have some time, I'd give it a view. It's not going to be for everybody. There's a lot of talking. A lot of talking in this one, and a lot of psychological trying to figure things out, a lot of head games going on. But if you do have some time, go ahead and try this one and comment down below and let me know your thoughts. What's up, 1970s? We've got a classic on our hands, people. If you haven't seen this one,
one of my all-time favorite horror classics is Carrie. This movie came out in 1976 and is rated R.
It's Carrie. Who doesn't know Carrie? Oh my gosh. Okay, for those of us in the back who don't know, Carrie is telekinetic, and she has an overbearing, overly religious mom. And through all the bullying and all the ridiculousness that she has to go through at school and what she has to go through at home, it just becomes a little bit too much. I mean, we all have those days. Like, it literally was one of those days for her. And she just kind of went off. And that was the best part about this movie for me. This is a classic. This movie will go down in history. There's been remakes, but come on, let's not even give that weight, okay? So, no. What you want to do is you want to see the original. You want to see the original 1970s film, because this right here, Sissy Spacek, shows you, okay, a true crazy. We hadn't seen anything like this before this movie came out. This is one to watch. If you start anywhere on the list, if you've never seen this movie, trust me, please watch this one first.
Besides Scarface and The Untouchables, this is probably my favorite Brian De Palma movie. There's not much more I can really say about this one other than it's a horror great for a reason. If you haven't seen this one, the original, definitely gotta watch it. Rosemary's Baby. This movie came out in 1968 and is rated R.
Ooh, girl, it is 1968 and we've got Rosemary's Baby. This is definitely one. Oh my gosh, I love this movie. I put this on every year at Halloween. This is one of my favorite classic movies. Oh my gosh, they tried to remake it, and no, you have to see the original. Yes, it's long, it's like 2 hours plus, but it's definitely worth it. It is a mother's worst nightmare. I mean, could you imagine? A lot of people have seen this movie, so they know what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna spoil that for you here, but
curl up and get comfy. Some say this psycho thriller is one of the best. The original Rosemary's Baby is like no other. This one's gonna creep you out. Give it a watch. It's definitely a classic for a reason. The Weekend Murders. This movie came out in 1970 and is rated 13+.
This one is so good. I mean, if you want to laugh, and I mean a good laugh, then you're definitely going to want to see this one. Yes, it's on a horror list, but it's more like Clue. You know, you remember that one back in the 80s? It definitely has that vibe to it. I enjoyed it. It's hilarious. Like I said, it's British, you know, and their humor... Their humor is unmatched. In this movie, you've got a family that comes together because great uncle has died and they want to see what they were left in the will, you know, so let's all show up. And unfortunately, it didn't go the way that they wanted it to. And so they decided to hatch a plan to try to get rid of the family member that was left everything.
As I said earlier, this one reminded me of Clue. I came across it on Prime and decided to give it a watch, and it cracked me up. I got the humor. I liked it. It's not going to be for everybody, but I wanted to go ahead and include it in this list. The Prodigy came out in 2019 and is rated R.
You take Rhoda from The Bad Seed, and you take Damien from The Omen, and there you go. You've got Miles. This was a really good movie. I missed it when it was in the theaters last year. I'm so glad it's on Prime now because I get to watch it over and over, because let me tell you, this little boy, he was good.
Something is wrong with their perfect son. As Miles begins to act out more and more and becomes violent, his mother has to figure out what's happening with her son before it's too late. This movie is definitely a psycho thriller mixed with horror. I would say add in a little bit of primal fear, and it's your perfect thriller. And the last movie is Derailed. This movie came out in 2019 and is rated 13+.
A group of strangers decide to take part in a murder mystery train ride at Halloween. This movie fully sets itself up to be like Murder on the Orient Express, except the train derails, goes into a lake, and now we have a whole new movie because there's something in the water.
What started out as a lovely evening quickly turns into a night of terror. The train derails and lands in the water, and now they have to swim to shore. Problem is, they don't know which way is land, and something has come out of the water.
Don't expect too much from this movie, okay? It was really entertaining. It's nothing you're gonna wanna take too seriously. Let me tell you, it's got good acting, it's got good action. If you're looking for a horror movie to watch on Prime now, this is one you might want to check out. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my videos. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't had a chance, please hit the like button and subscribe. Next week, we're going to be sticking with Prime. I have a new list. I'm going over my hidden gems. Until next week.